Sometimes, a messy home or poor personal hygiene can be a red flag for deeper mental health issues, like depression turning someone's space into a chaotic reflection of their inner chaos. But for Kendall Francois, the foul stench that permeated his life and home wasn't about neglect. It was a perfect cover for unimaginable evil. This huge figure, roughly 6 feet 5 inches tall and weighing between 250 and 286 pounds, transformed his family's modest house into a secret chamber of horrors. Stashing the bodies of his victims in the attic and crawlspace while his parents and sister lived oblivious downstairs. Viewer discretion is advised. This video delves into brutal violence, sexual assault, and the targeting of society's most overlooked women. But before we go ahead, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. Like and subscribe to keep seeing videos like this. Nestled in New York's Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie in the 1990s was a blend of college town charm and gritty urban edges, where economic hardships and a raging crack epidemic pushed many into desperate survival modes. From October 1996 to August 1998, 8 women, mostly sex workers battling addiction, vanished from these streets, their absences initially dismissed as just another sad statistic. No bodies turned up, no obvious crime scenes emerged. But whispers pointed to one man, Kendall Francois, whose history of rough encounters kept bringing him to police attention. Born July 26, 1971, in Poughkeepsie, Kendall was the second of 4 kids to McKinley Francois, a dedicated factory worker, and Paulette Francois, a nurse aiding children with disabilities. Their lower middle-class home at 99 Fulton Avenue seemed stable. No abuse reports, no early cruelty to animals, nothing hinting at the monster he'd become. But Kendall was always an outlier. His massive build and chronic hygiene issues earned him the cruel schoolyard nickname, Stinky. Rarely bathing, he endured bullying until high school sports football and Greco-Roman wrestling gave him a shield of respect through sheer intimidation. After graduating in 1989, he joined the U.S. Army in 1990, but obesity forced his discharge by 1994. Back home with his parents and younger sister, he snagged a job in April 1996 as a janitor at Arlington Middle School, soon bumped up to hallway monitor. By day, he watched over preteens aged 11 to 13, earning a rep as quiet but oddly approachable, though complaints rolled in about his odor, and some staff noted creepy behavior, like making lewd jokes or stroking girls' hair. No real repercussions followed. Nights, however, unleashed his dark side. He'd prowl for vulnerable women, often sex workers feeding drug habits, luring them with cash promises. When things soured refusals, demands for more pay, his fury erupted. Early assaults foreshadowed the horror. In 1996, he dragged one woman into his garage, punched her face, yanked her hair, forced her to her knees, and threatened death if she resisted. His sister's shout for the car keys saved her life. Neighbors saw battered, half-naked women fleeing his door, pleading for help, but police brushes-offs were routine. Victims' professions deemed them unreliable, cases evaporating without charges. This free pass emboldened him, because he is always quiet and doesn't mingle with people or have friends. On October 24, 1996, he picked up 30-year-old prostitute Wendy Myers. The two negotiate sex for money and have sex until Francois becomes angry, believing that Myers had ripped him off. He begins choking her until she dies when the hide bone in her neck cracks. After the murder, he bathes her and stores the body in a black garbage bag in the attic, leaving it to rot amid the clutter. Just weeks later, on November 29, 1996, he picks another lady, this time around a 28-year-old prostitute Gina Barone, and negotiates sex for money. The two have sex in the garage of the Francois residence until Francois becomes angry, feeling that Barone had ripped him off. He chokes her until her death and then moves the body to the attic of the house. The killings accelerated, each following a grim ritual. Strangulation by his enormous hands, often during or after sex, triggered by perceived slights. Bodies were meticulously washed, bagged, and hidden, early ones piled in the attic, later shifted to the basement crawl space as space ran low. He even tried dismembering some with tools but gave up, leaving partial cuts and bones in trash bags. Next came 31-year-old Catherine Marsh, last seen November 11, 1996. After dropping his mother off at work at the Hudson River Psychiatric Hospital, he picks up prostitute Catherine Marsh. He takes Marsh back home to his house after arranging sex for money. After sex, he chokes and kills Marsh before washing her body in the bathroom. He then takes Marsh's body to the attic and places it next to other bodies. When the odor became too much, neighbors complained but was told as dead raccoons and other bodies, since he was known to stinky and hardly cleans his house. Missing women were reported missing, first by Wendy Meyer's boyfriend and secondly by Patricia Barone, Gina Barone mom. But none of this report was taken seriously. Because of the nature of their work, they were considered to have moved to a new location or just ran away. In January 1997, 47-year-old Kathleen Hurley vanished from Main Street. Strangled in his bedroom, her body joined the attic collection. Kathleen Hurley's family reports her missing. Around this time, cops begin to suspect that the missing woman may have fallen prey to a serial killer. A cop, named Segrist, begins to look for a pattern. February 1997 claimed 29-year-old Mary Healy Giacone. Within 1 hour after the police met with Francois, Mary Healy Giacone was killed. Francois picks her up and kills her the same way as the others, and places her dead body in the attic of the house. Because Francois' vehicle is repeatedly ticketed for illegal parking. On October 30, 1997, Francois' vehicle was impounded. He picks up the car, abandons the car and license plates, and purchases a late model Toyota Camry, and continues his mission. On January 18, 1998, police officer Segrist follows Francois as he drives his mother to work. After Francois drops his mother off, the officer stops him and asks him to come to the station for questioning. Francois is questioned, but admits to nothing. He also takes and passes a lie detector test. Police also went to his house believing something was wrong and also looking for substantial proof to arrest him, when a detective entered his filth-ridden home on a pretext, dodging rats, roaches, and garbage piles. The stench was eye-watering when he tried to deviate to check the smell he is perceiving from the basement. Francois blocked him, saying no warrant yet. Francois contracted HIV from these risky liaisons but pressed on undeterred. June 12, 1998, 51-year-old Sandra Jean French, a mother of 3, was picked up near her abandoned car. Strangled mid-act when he flipped out, bathed, then initially attacked before being moved to a shallow crawlspace grave, covered in dirt. On June 15, police found French's abandoned vehicle in Arlington. At the same time, her mother reports her to be missing. August 12, 1998, 34-year-old Audrey Pugliese, a regular, met him on Knoxon Street. In the basement, he punched her face, stomped her ribs and stomach, then strangled her relentlessly. Dumped atop French's body in the crawlspace. Finally, 25-year-old Katina Newmaster disappeared August 25, 1998. On August 25, he picks up Newmaster. Newmaster wasn't so lucky. She was strangled, then buried in the crawlspace among others. On September 1st, he attempted to strangle a woman named Diane Franco, but she escaped after convincing him to drive her back downtown. Survivor Diane Franco flagged cops after an assault, accusing Francois of choking and threats. He initially denied but cracked under pressure. After being shown photos of missing women, he sorted them chillingly. One pile 4, I killed them, another 4, I'm not sure. Over hours, he confessed voluntarily. Police arrested Francois, obtained a search warrant, and raided his home at 99 Fulton Avenue shortly after midnight on September 2nd. What they found horrified even seasoned investigators. 8 decomposed bodies, 5 in the attic, some wrapped in plastic, partial dismemberment, skulls in a kiddie pool, 3 in the basement crawlspace. The smell was nauseating. Teams wore masks and took days to recover remains. Forensic work was grueling. Some areas had human sludge on floors. His mother and sister denied knowledge, claiming the garbage stench covered everything. They were removed during the search and expressed shock, later stating they'd lost their home and privacy. Francois confessed to all 8 murders, claiming various triggers, rudeness, theft attempts, showing zero remorse. He denied knowing Michelle Eason, 27, who vanished in September 1997, and her body wasn't found in his house either. He flipped through victim photos casually, like worthless cards, and also said that killing seemed easier than getting into a relationship. In June 2000, Francois struck a plea deal, guilty to 8 counts of first-degree murder, avoiding the death penalty and sparing families a full trial with gruesome details. On August 11, 2000, he received 8 consecutive life sentences without parole. He served time at Attica, later transferred to Wendy Correctional Facility's medical unit. On September 11, 2014, at age 43, Kendall Francois died of natural causes. Authorities didn't relate his death to AIDS illness. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to read them. Subscribe and share the link to your friends. Thanks once again, and hopefully I will see you on the next one.